Hello, welcome back to a new video on Horror Movie Collector. And this video is the fourth instalment of my horror movie lobby cards. This next set is from the 1992 Bram Stokers Dracula, which was directed by Francis Ford Coppola. It starred Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins and Keanu Reeves. Really great film. And I instantly fell in love with this film when it first came out in the cinema back in 1992, and it was a completely new version of Dracula, as being a fan of the vampire films. And I just love the different time frames where it goes back to the 1400s and explains the background of Dracula as Vlad the Impaler, the Romanian warlord that's based on the real Vlad the Impaler, Vlad III, that ruled over Wallachia, Romania in 1436. And it's just really interesting how they put the stories together, and then eventually forward in time to the Victorian time, the 1800s, where he's more the demonic demon vampire. And so starting off with this one, you've got that's the werewolf version of Dracula with Lucy, that's played by Sandy Frost. A really great shot there. And then you've got Winona Ryder and Sandy Frost that plays Mina and Lucy. And Gary Oldman there as the Count. Great shot there as the old version of Dracula, as he had different versions of the old and young version, and then he turned into a werewolf and into a bat. So it's really good. And that's the end scene where he's been defeated. And that's Sandy Frost that plays Lucy, as she gets turned into a vampire eventually. And that's the three vampires with Keanu Reeves at the castle near the beginning of the film. And then you got Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder again there on that shot as Dracula and Mina. And then you've got Anthony Hopkins and Mina there at the end shot towards the end of the film. So a really great set of lobby cards from the classic Dracula film 1992. And then on from that, this next set, they're not horror lobby cards, but I want to show these anyways. This is another one of my favourite films back in the 80s, and this is more of like a fantasy action film from Highlander, which are original set, and these are a British set of lobby cards from the 1986 film Highlander, that stars Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery and Clancy Brown, and you've got Roxanne Hart, and this girl here is Betty Edney that played Heather. Absolutely brilliant film, and also not forgetting the amazing soundtrack and the music that was from Queen, which I'm also a huge fan of Queen, of Who Wants to Live Forever, and Kind of Magic, and Princess of the Universe. That shot there of Clancy Brown, absolutely brilliant. He's really quite a scary villain in it, but he's also, I find he's quite funny as well. Great shot there of Lambert. There's quite a few of these lobby cards in this set actually, so it's quite nice to have several shots from the movie. That is up in the Highlands of Scotland, that shot there. And that's Roxanne Hart with Lambert, and she plays Brenda in the film. And another shot there of the Highlands of Scotland. Really great film. That's at the beginning of the film in the car park scene. And shot there of Sean Connery and Clancy Brown's character that plays the Kurgan. So it's basically to do with the film, just to background on it, is to do with immortals that are fighting for the prize to win like a special ability which is given to the last living immortal warrior, and they can only die if their heads are decapitated, which is really great, entertaining film for the 80s. Another great shot here of Clancy Brown, that sort of set in the future, modern day New York. This is one of my all-time favourite shots, which is also on one of the Queen albums. They put him on the front cover of the I'm not sure if it was on the singles LP, but they put his image on the front. But it's absolutely brilliant. But his costume is amazing. Really striking villain, and he plays, for me, he plays it really well. Now it's a shot in the future there in New York. That's the famous church scene, which is towards the end of the film. And then the famous battle right at the end. I mean, there's several Highlander films made with Christopher Lambert. I like them all, but of course the first one is always the best one. That's a nice shot there with Lambert and Sean Connery. Really nice set of sort of fantasy action lobby cards. And then just to finish that topic off on Highlander, I have this picture just here with me and Chris Lambert. You can just about see that there. Let me just angle that right. That was going back last year. I met Christopher Lambert, and a really nice guy, really nice, down to earth guy. Pleasure to meet. So it's nice to meet the main guy from a classic 80s action film. And then just moving on back to the horror subjects, I'm going to start a set of lobby cards on a Nightmare on Elm Street series. So on this one, I'm going to start, this is with the very first film, which is a 1984 classic. These are a Spanish set of lobby cards from the original 1984, very first Nightmare on Elm Street, directed by Wes Craven, and starring Heather Langenkamp, John Saxon, and of course Robert Englund as Fred Krueger, or Freddy Krueger. But that's a famous scene at the beginning where he's trying to come through the wall at the beginning of the movie. Absolutely brilliant, really effective. That's also another very famous scene where Nancy, she falls asleep, and his hand comes up through the bathtub. So it's really effective. There's another shot there which is near the end of the film. A shot there of Heather Langenkamp. I have also met Heather Langenkamp as well. I think I showed a signed picture of her. You can actually just see, just right up there in the corner there. You can just sort of see it in the corner of the camera there. There's a picture of me and her a few years ago that I met Heather Langenkamp, and she was really, again, really nice person to meet, really down to earth. That's near the beginning of the film. That's Amanda Wise that played Tina. She's the very first victim in Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's really quite a disturbing scene. And again here where she gets dragged around the wall and thrown around the room, so it was really sort of supernatural, and with this invisible force that was attacking her, and it was really quite disturbing for the times, I thought. Another great shot there, Heather Langenkamp. It's quite a dark shot, that one, but that's Freddy Krueger breaking through the door, attacking Nancy. And then again there in the house where Freddy Krueger is on fire on the bed. So that's it. That's all the lobby cards for this video. And then for the next, hopefully for the next two videos, it will be just purely on the Nightmare on Elm Street series. So thanks for watching this video, and happy Happy horror or lobby card collecting. Thank you very much. Bye.